How's it going?
You never called me back. I left messages.
Julia Roberts, once known as the most beautiful woman in the world, turns out to have a life full of hidden corners. Behind her million-dollar smile are shocking love scandals and unexpectedly broken family relationships. Do you really know all the secrets behind her closed doors? Let's dig into the secrets that Julia Roberts has never shared through this video. Julia Roberts was born into a family of true artists. Her parents were both passionate actors who founded and ran a small acting school in Atlanta. They were not only devoted to their craft, but also progressive and compassionate in their beliefs. At a time when racial segregation still divided much of America, their acting school was one of the few that welcomed black students. Among them was a young girl, the daughter of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. The friendship between the two families became a deeply meaningful part of Julia's life. When her parents couldn't afford the hospital bills for her birth, it was Coretta and Martin Luther King Jr. who quietly paid them. That act of kindness was more than financial help. It was a symbol of humanity amid the social turbulence of 1960 seconds America. But life didn't stay kind to little Julia for long. When she was only 4, her parents divorced. Her father, Walter Roberts, the man who had first inspired her love for the stage, died of cancer just 6 years later, leaving Julia in the care of her mother and a fractured new family. Betty Lou remarried a man named Michael Moats, whom Julia would later describe as lazy, controlling, and emotionally abusive. The warmth once present in their home faded, replaced by tension, scarcity, and confusion about what family was supposed to mean. Julia's teenage years were filled with a deep sense of distance and insecurity. She grew up in an unhappy home where the warmth of art that once brought light to her family had long faded. Yet, it was within that instability that Julia discovered her longing to escape fate. She wasn't someone who shone from the start. In fact, she once dreamed of becoming a veterinarian, but the artist spirit ran quietly in her veins. In 1983, her mother's divorce from Michael Moats marked the end of a painful chapter and the beginning of Julia's own story. Moving to New York to live with her sister Lisa, she started a modest but determined new life, scooping ice cream, selling shoes, and signing with a small modeling agency. Alongside these jobs, Julia took acting classes, honing her ability to express emotions step by step. Gradually, she began to enter the world of cinema with a fierce desire to prove herself and rise above the shadows of her past. Julia's first big break came with the help of her older brother, actor Eric Roberts. It was Eric who opened the first door for her by introducing Julia to directors and helping her land a small role in the film Blood Red, 1989. Though in reality, the movie had been filmed back in 1986 and wasn't released until years later. But the real spark of her career ignited when she appeared in Mystic Pizza 1988. Her role as Daisy, a spirited young Portuguese-American woman full of wild energy, caught the attention of critics who recognized the emergence of a bright new talent. Just a year later, Steel Magnolias 1989 brought Julia's name close to Oscar glory. Playing Shelby, a young woman with diabetes who remains optimistic despite her condition, Julia moved audiences to tears and earned her first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Yet that was only the beginning. In 1990, Pretty Woman wrote The Legend of Julia Roberts. Her portrayal of Vivian Ward, a kind-hearted prostitute, was not just a film role, it became a pop culture phenomenon that helped define the romantic comedy genre of the 1990 seconds. Julia embodied the character with such warmth, charm, and authenticity that audiences believed no one else could have brought Vivian to life the same way. The movie was a massive box office hit and solidified Julia as an A-list star, placing her among the most iconic names of her generation. Throughout the 1990 seconds, Julia Roberts continued to diversify her image. She transitioned seamlessly from Sleeping with the Enemy to The Pelican Brief, from Something to Talk About to Notting Hill, and most memorably, My Best Friend's Wedding 1997. In that film, she played Julianne, a woman who realizes she's in love with her best friend just before his wedding. The movie wasn't just a romantic comedy success. Critics praised Julia's nuanced performance, captivating yet never overly sentimental. The film grossed nearly $300 million worldwide, firmly securing her status as Hollywood's unrivaled queen of romantic comedy. In 2000, Julia reached the pinnacle of her career when she portrayed real-life heroine Erin Brockovich in Steven Soderbergh's film of the same name. Playing a single mother with no formal education who bravely takes on a powerful energy corporation, Julia delivered a performance that was both fierce and deeply moving. The role earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, marking a defining moment in film history. She became the first actress ever to be paid $20 million for a single role, an unprecedented figure for women in Hollywood at the time. Following the monumental success of Erin Brockovich, Julia continued to challenge herself across different genres. The Mexican 2001, a quirky mix of action, comedy, and romance, marked her first collaboration with Brad Pitt. Though the film's tone was unconventional, it achieved solid commercial success. That same year, she displayed her versatility in America's Sweethearts and Ocean's 11. Effortlessly switching between roles, a clumsy PR assistant in one, and the elegant, sharp-witted Tess Ocean in the other. Ocean's 11, featuring an all-star cast, including George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon, became one of the year's biggest box office hits, grossing over $450 million worldwide. Julia further cemented her legacy with Mona Lisa Smile 2003 inches, which she played an inspiring art history professor. Her $25 million salary made her the highest-paid actress in Hollywood history, a record that reflected both her influence and enduring star power. Although the film received mixed reviews, it proved that Julia's name alone could still draw massive audiences. In 2004, she took another bold leap with Closer, a complex psychological drama about love, betrayal, and emotional vulnerability. Julia portrayed an American photographer opposite Jude Law, Natalie Portman, and Clive Owen, earning praise for her raw, understated performance and willingness to take risks. That same year, she reunited with audiences in Ocean's 12, delivering a witty meta moment where her character Tess Ocean hilariously has to pretend to be Julia Roberts. A clever self-referential twist that showcased her humor and intelligence. But alongside her soaring career and record-breaking paychecks, Julia Roberts also became the center of countless sensational and controversial love stories that kept the tabloids buzzing. One of the earliest and most explosive scandals of the early 1990 seconds was her engagement to rising star Kiefer Sutherland, her co-star from Flatliners. The two were hailed as Hollywood's golden couple, with a lavish wedding planned for the summer of 1991. Yet just 3 days before the ceremony, Julia abruptly called it off. A shocking decision that stunned not only the press, but even those closest to her. What made the story even more dramatic was that on the very day she was supposed to walk down the aisle, Julia was spotted with actor Jason Patric, Kiefer's close friend. The pair fled to Ireland, seeking refuge from the spotlight and relentless media scrutiny. Their brief relationship fizzled out soon after, but the fallout from the last-minute wedding cancellation severely damaged Julia's wholesome image. After the scandal, Julia withdrew from the public eye for a while. But in 1993, she shocked fans again, this time with a secret wedding to country singer Lyle Lovett, a romance that had blossomed almost overnight. After her failed marriage, Julia entered a relatively stable relationship with actor Benjamin Bratt, who was often credited with helping her regain emotional balance and rebuild her public image. Then fate intervened once again on the set of the Mexican 2000, where Julia met cinematographer Danny Motter, a talented man who at the time was already married. Their connection sparked immediate controversy, with the media labeling Julia as the other woman. Despite the backlash, their relationship endured. After Danny's divorce was finalized, the two married on July 4, 2002 inches, a private ceremony at Julia's ranch in New Mexico. The couple has 3 children, Hazel, Phineas, and Henry, and they've kept their family life remarkably private. Julia did not attend Nancy Motz's funeral, a decision that drew widespread criticism but also revealed an undeniable truth. Even the brightest stars in Hollywood are not immune to the pain and fractures of complicated family relationships. Despite her troubled past, Julia Roberts remains an enduring icon of her time. Today, Julia Roberts is remembered not only for her iconic roles, but also for her courage to face her own past, even if it is full of twists, tragedies, or losses. Thank you all so much for watching the video until the last moment. Your support is a huge motivation for me to continue making better quality content. If you find this video useful or interesting, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos.